Why hello, and welcome back to another episode of Redraw. I would like to once again thank everyone who sent me comments and suggestions, and fan art too, for essentially curing my art block, because seriously, doing this series has made me create such an array of interesting and lovely pieces of art, with levels of commitment and detail that I usually don't do. It has made me so much more confident in my skills, and just thank you so much to everyone, because this has been a really good time. And your suggestions are just so sweet, too. Like this one. I cannot for the life of me find the original comment that asked for this, but they asked me to draw Ice Boy and Fire Girl giving each other that hug, because they deserve it, goddammit. I'm usually not very good at drawing interactive poses like hugging, but I think I got this one pretty good, and I'm very happy about it. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I much prefer this dynamic to their relationship than, the weird romantic thing that was going on in the original show. Some people in the comments of the He Pal meets Shizao chapter have also mentioned that they didn't like that dynamic they had originally. We all kind of agree that it feels a little bit too close to incest in a weird way. That's just us. The next suggestion I decided to do was a commenter that got straight to the point. Listen, I can't blame you. I'm sure you're all relatively content with the speed at which things are progressing in the actual fic. But honestly, I don't blame you guys for just wanting them to smooch already. I guess this isn't what you would call canon, seeing as I haven't actually written the scene where they kiss for the first time. I did try to make it relatively canon compliant for what I know about what happens then, now at least. So I drew the correct time period in which this happens, where Guy's got his scar. And they do kiss for the first time out of costume because, the whole idea of Guy being concerned about whether or not Maz likes him better as Shizao or as Guy is a little thing that we go into eventually, but not for their first kiss. That comes down a little bit more down the line. This scene is just gonna be fluffy and nice. Few general art tips for when it comes to drawing characters kissing. The heads should be tilting in different directions. For example, Guy is a little bit more away from the screen, while Maz is a little more towards. And when you're drawing a character that is tilting their head away from the screen, show their jawline. I know you might have a cartoony style like me, but as you can see, it still works. And now we're getting into a little bit more illustration-y illustrations here. And we're starting that off with a redraw of some very lovely fan art by Luna Marstella, who has actually drawn me more than one piece of fan art, and both of them rule. This one got me very excited because I do believe it is the first time I've had someone draw me a piece of fan art with Guy and Kelly together, interacting with each other. I have had people draw Kelly, and it's a treat every single time they do. But I especially liked this piece because I may have exaggerated their facial expressions a little bit more as the original, but I do feel like the original was trying to convey a bit of unease between the two. At least that was my interpretation. And what I love about that is because it just perfectly encapsulates the awkward growing pains of when their relationship was first starting to get better. Because it was also the awkward growing pains of realizing just how bad things had gotten between them. I love everything about this art. The poses are so them. The detail is so good. The colors are so warm and soft, and I really like the texture that they added over it. It's just a really simple, really lovely image that I really enjoyed recreating. I also really love the detail that Kelly's wearing some fingerless gloves too, as a callback to the fact that the ones Guy wears were borrowed from her. And this piece's little art tip is to remember that clothing wrinkles are very, very hard, to the point where a lot of people usually just skip over them, and I really don't blame you. But here's a little tip for that. If you're finding that your wrinkles are way too harsh, try doing this little dash line thing that I do on mostly Guy's pants there. Also, line weight, guys. A really good way to make sure your wrinkles don't look too intense and like they are like completely taking over the piece and looking awkward is to just make those lines a lot thinner than the ones in the rest of the line art. Line weight is everything, people. Use it. Thank you again to Luna Marstella for the lovely fan art. I think my version turned out very well. And for our fourth and final drawing of the day, I had someone suggest to me to try drawing the cemetery scene from the latest chapter. I can't find that comment either. Like, I know that someone commented it because I wrote it down on my list, but I cannot for the life of me find the comment. Either way, I was a little nervous about this because one of my biggest insecurities about drawing is the fact that I don't tend to do big, like, dynamic, location-centric scenes. Backgrounds are very much not my strong suit, and drawing multiple characters at a time is also a challenge usually as well. But you know what? I don't think this is the best illustration I've ever done, but I think I did really good. I think I did a good job at making Agnes's grave the focal point. I think I did a good job at posing everyone in the scene. I also did the smart thing and gave myself a reference to follow off when it came to settling the composition and everything. You're about to see some of the colors pop up right now, but I think I did pretty good on the colors too. They're a little rough in the beginning, but you see, it works itself out. Now that I mention it though, this is a good time to talk about backgrounds. Really use value changes when it comes to laying them out. First of all, if you've got characters, and you want them to pop out a lot, make the background different in some way. Like, if your characters all have black line art, as you can see here, I had all of the line art for the background be this dark blue instead, so it's a little softer and made our characters pop out. Also, ask yourself this. The further back things get, do they get lighter or do they get darker? For me, I chose lighter, so the grave in the foreground is very dark. The rest of the stuff is, you know, about normal saturation. And then all the trees and graves in the background, so that it doesn't look like we're just floating on this little piece of land, are all very pushed back by mostly just being like ghostly shapes. And then you can see here I pushed the rest of the background back even more. And the reason I did that is because I knew I wanted the characters to be bathed in light a lot, and that meant that everything behind them had to be even lighter, so that they would stand out contrast-wise. One more thing, because it's a detail I love very much, but for everyone who can't see Agnes's grave very clear and what's written on it, it says, "To whoever needs to hear it, I love you." And I feel like that, one, fits really well with the chapter, and then also, it's just a very Aunt Agnes thing for her to have put on her grave. Even in death, Agnes's main priority has always been helping people and bringing just a little bit of light into their lives. So I feel like this is something she would have done. Even in death, she wanted to bring just a little bit of happiness to whoever happened to walk past her.